Good evening, everyone. To the studentloanjustice.org live stream. My name is Alan Collins. It is Friday, April 23rd. I hope everybody is doing well out there in the world. We continue to soldier on. Things are going actually quite well here. I've got a couple of announcements. Well, first of all, we reached 1 million signatures on our petition late last week. Thanks to everybody who helped with that. Battle's only a fraction of the way done. We're still only barely scratching the surface. Quite frankly, we should be able to get up to 10 or 20 million signatures. But just having 1 million is great. So if you helped with that, thanks. I hope you're pleased. We've been getting some increased media attention of late. On that note, if you happen to live in Ohio, Georgia, Oregon, like Portland area, or Colorado, like in particular Colorado Springs, send us an email. Send us your story if you're willing to be interviewed. I think that would be a great thing. Your story needs to be told. Your story is important. And by the way, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them out now, and we will respond to them as I can see them. We're on Facebook now. If you're watching us on YouTube, it's too late. We do these things live on Facebook, so that's facebook.com/groups/SLJ group. Yeah, if you happen to be in all those, any of those places I mentioned, send us an email. Tell us your story. Tell us where you are, and we will be happy to forward it along. So there's that. Oh, also, I probably should have started with this. We are seeking donations right now. Our website expense has gotten stupid, and quite frankly, our host, I won't even mention their name, GoDaddy, is really difficult to work with. We're kind of looking at maybe going with a new hosting company. In fact, we are going to go with a new hosting company. So we need to raise a bit of money towards that end. If you can make a donation at this time, it would be particularly helpful. studentloanjustice.org/support. And by the way, thanks to Tony and Jill and a few other people who helped us out today from a very sticky situation. The website actually went down briefly this morning and like maybe last night. So thanks for that, guys. We need to do something about this. So yeah, if you can support our new website platform, it would be very helpful. So in the news, things are going well. We're getting very close to Joe Biden's first 100 days in office, and he has done diddly squat on student loans. Before the election, Joe Biden was all, if you earn less than $125,000 a year and you went to a public college, then I will eliminate your student loan debt, is what he said. He also said that he was endorsing Elizabeth Warren's bankruptcy plan. He has done neither of those things. In fact, now he's saying things like, I will not do that. And he's turning to the Department of Education to tell him whether he even has the power to do it. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you, he absolutely does have the power. Before we started the petition that ignited the public conversation about canceling student loans by executive order, we researched the law very carefully and thoroughly. We consulted with experts. Believe you me, he does have the power, and whatever the Department of Education may come back with, that will still remain true. So regardless of anything, just remember, folks, Biden is a politician. He can be pushed. A year ago this time, he essentially laughed me out of the room in Iowa on a very simple question about returning bankruptcy protections to student loans. So, Biden will go with the wind. Oh, I hope you like my shirt. This may be coming, guys. Slexit. Student loan exit. Think about that. It's not a strike, by the way. That's the wrong word. This lending system has catastrophically failed. 80% of all borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans, even before this pandemic. So it's not time for a debt strike or anything like that because, a strike presumes that at some point you will resume whatever you were striking from. That's not going to happen. This lending system needs to be taken out to the bath and drowned in the tub. Mark my words. By all rational metrics and measures, this is a catastrophically failed lending system. Let's say, maybe a better word, lending scam, the likes of which we have never before seen. And by the way, this is a woman's issue. 2/3 of all student loan debt is held by women. This is a minority issue. This is an issue for people of color. Just turn on your TV for 5 seconds and look at all the for-profit colleges that advertise to people of color. I would say maybe single African American mothers in particular. It's just terrible. This is also a seniors issue. There are more people over the age of 50 than under the age of 25 with student loans. Believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. This is a red state issue. There are 18 states in the union right now whose citizens owe more than the entire state budget in student loan debt. Most of those states are historically red states. So there's probably like 5 other categories that we could maybe shoehorn this issue into. But guys, it's so big, it affects everybody. It is catastrophically failed for everyone. And by the way, one more little sub point. The subprime home mortgage default rate was less than 20%, believe it or not. It was 18%. So we are looking at a default rate of something like 75, 80, 85% for student loans. There's never been anything like it. It's just so far beyond, let's say beyond catastrophically failed. Whatever that looks like is what student loans are. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. In my humble opinion, nobody should ever make another payment, certainly on their federal student loans. This lending system it's toast. It's finished. I don't know how many different superlatives I can throw out there, but it's over the moon. It's over the cliff, over the falls. So we're glad that you found us. I have many worries right now, but one of the major worries that I have right now, having done this for 16 years, our opposition would very much like to keep this lending system going. They would like to keep it alive and rolling through roughshod through the lives and livelihoods of decent people like you and like me. What they would love to do right now in the current environment is they would like to do a fake, ridiculously lame, not going to help almost anybody, if anyone, loan cancellation program. Look, we just canceled $10,000 in student loans. Something stupid. Nobody will get $10,000, by the way. It will be, by the time all the strings are attached, by the time the Department of Education bureaucratizes it to death, which is what they're very good at, it's not going to be almost anything for almost anyone. They would love to do that as a cheap substitute for returning bankruptcy protections to student loans. So, Elizabeth Warren pledged that on day one as president, she would issue an executive order returning bankruptcy protections to student loans. That was at our urging, by the way, so just so you know, that was us. Joe Biden said he was adopting her bankruptcy plan. Now, here we are nearly 100 days into Biden's presidency. The Elizabeth Warren people told us that they were pushing Joe Biden to do that thing I just said, return bankruptcy by executive order on day one. Clearly, that didn't happen. Quite frankly, I'm not even convinced that they even pressured him. So the other day, Elizabeth Warren had her very first Senate hearing. And I was hoping very much that we would hear at least some meaningful discussion about bankruptcy. We didn't. It was not mentioned even one time by Elizabeth Warren in the hearing. In fact, of all the 7 or 8 witnesses in that hearing, only one person even uttered the word bankruptcy. And that was Sally Mae President Jack Raimondi. And I don't even want to talk about it. What he said was just ridiculous. He said essentially, yeah, we should allow bankruptcy student loans to be discharged in bankruptcy, provided that the borrowers had already repaid for 5 or 7 years or something ridiculous. That's like telling a drowning man, yeah, I've got a life jacket for you. You just need to swim over to that island over there and get your life jacket. It's ridiculous. So we're extremely disappointed in Elizabeth Warren for that, and I hate to say that. We endorsed her in her presidential bid. We would have endorsed her for president if she had made it through the primaries. So to all of a sudden see this huge silence on bankruptcy is concerning. What is even more concerning to me, vis-a-vis Elizabeth Warren, is the fact that the other day her and freshman Senator Raphael Warnock from Georgia, they sent a letter to the Secretary of Education requesting that he pull all defaulted federal student loan borrowers out of default. In other words, make their loan in good standing again. Now, that at first glance, that doesn't sound like such a bad thing, right? Default's a terrible thing. Nobody wants to be in default. Getting your loans out of default should be a good thing. Well, guys, it is a trick. It is essentially out of the fire and into the frying pan is what it is. The lending system would love to do a bunch of bullshit where at the end of the day they can continue the lending system in the absence of bankruptcy protections, in the absence of statutes of limitations, so that they can conquer and enslave this country. And I don't even say those words dramatically, at least not in my mind. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, many of the others were killed by British debt, predatory British debt. They called for bankruptcy protections in the Constitution, ahead of the power to declare war, ahead of the power to raise an army. John Adams said there are two ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword, the other is by debt. So the Founding Fathers were very worried about the student loan problem rearing its ugly head. And our opposition would love to yank people out of default, try and compel as many as possible to start making payments on their loans again, and keep this dead man walking a few more years. That's what they'd love to do. And this request that Elizabeth Warren made, I am sorry to report, is a viable first. That's the first thing that you would do if that is what you wanted to do. So I'm put off by what I heard from Senator Warren the other day. The fact that she has not, I don't even remember her mentioning bankruptcy almost at all. Certainly we have no legislation right now to fight for. Her office sort of is giving us mixed signals about if, when, and even if we are going to see bankruptcy legislation from her. So I don't know what to think about that, guys. Elizabeth Warren's supposed to be a good guy. If you like her, I totally get where you're going. We were ready to endorse her in her presidential run. But folks, we've got to tell the truth. And we have seen all manner of tricks and traps erected against student loan borrowers over the past 16 years. And this thing that I just described to you has all the hallmarks of that. So if this concerns you, I would strongly suggest that you contact Elizabeth Warren, like today. Warren.senate.gov, go to contact or share your opinion or whatever it is. And tell her, what I would tell her is basically quit screwing around. I don't know what you're doing, but it's not bankruptcy. You better start dancing with who brought you here, and that is the bankruptcy issue for student loans. Cancellation is great. We started the petition that ignited the entire conversation about cancellation. But there are a lot of loans that cannot be canceled by the president, and we need and truly getting our bankruptcy rights back for all student loans is a necessary precondition to ensure that any loan cancellation that we might see actually happens. So it is just universally of paramount importance. So I hope you understand that. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But we've got to have that constitutional right back on our side. And what we are seeing from Elizabeth Warren right now is very troubling. So I will keep you posted on that, folks. We're not quite at the point where we're ready to straight up call Elizabeth Warren a fraud. We're not there yet. And hopefully we will never get there. Hopefully Senator Warren will do the right thing and quit looking like she's planting little seeds for the student loan swamp. She needs to just not do that. So I don't know what she's thinking, but it's very concerning. And it's even more concerning too. Apparently she or somebody roped this freshman senator, Raphael Warnock from Georgia, into signing this letter with her. Well, the people of Georgia owe $82 billion in student loan debt. The entire state budget of the state of Georgia is only $48 billion. I say only, but that's a lot of money. So Raphael Warnock needs to be fighting for exactly what we're fighting for: the cancellation of all federally owned student loans and the return of bankruptcy to those that cannot, to all student loans, period. That's where Warnock needs to be. And so he is hanging himself out there for a very serious kicking down the road. He better be careful. He's only been in the Senate for a few months now, and that's not a very good way to come out of the gates. As I said, has all the hallmarks of a swamp trick. So watch out, guys. I hope we don't go. I hope it doesn't get worse. I hope this thing gets nipped in the bud, and Warren and Warnock and Republican senators in all the 18 states that I mentioned earlier, Republican governors, Ron DeSantis, Bill Lee, Mike or Greg Abbott, Mike Abbott, Brian Kemp in Georgia. It's a long list. Kristi Neem, South Dakota. These Republican governors need to see this problem for what it is. They need to stand up and say, Mr. President, I don't care about Republican or Democrat. I care that my state is being strangled by this federal debt. Get rid of it. Cancel it. If we could even get one Republican governor to see the truth of this matter and to stand up for his citizens ahead of the swamp in Washington, D.C., I think this battle would pretty much be won, guys. I truly believe that. So that is where much of our energy lies going forward. So with that, guys, I'm going to keep it short tonight. I know it's Friday night. Everybody has a weekend to start. I will say two final things. Before you start your weekend, please follow us on Twitter and tweet our main tweet thing, our main tweet that we addressed to President Biden. It's like at POTUS and also at FLOTUS, which is the First Lady of the United States. Retweet that. It will help. And just liking us on Twitter kind of helps also. I hate Twitter. You probably do too, but it's pretty handy. So please play along. And the second thing, try to get 10 people to sign the petition. Make this issue personal. Some of the people that are doing a lot of work on our group, they're looking around, they're going, why is almost nobody doing anything? And I'm sorry, but I agree with them. Probably less than 10% of the people on our group are actually doing anything. Most of the people are sitting there waiting, watching, worrying. I don't know what they're waiting for. I mean, somebody else to do their work? Somebody else to pull their weight for them? It doesn't work like that, guys. Look, we don't have a staff. We don't have anything. We have people. That's all we have. We don't have $1 million budget. We almost have no budget. And certainly, why should we have to pay to hire people to do stuff that you need to be doing for free? Because these are your loans, and this is your problem. And look at how far we've come in the past year. We are now on the cusp of actually getting these loans canceled. You better start taking it seriously. To those of you out there who are doing the hard work, bravo, salute. I admire and appreciate your dedication. To everybody else, what are you doing? Come on. So with that, I don't want to leave on a bad note. I am more hopeful than I've ever been, guys. We are a light years ahead today where we were a year ago. This issue is changing fast. Don't be put off or demotivated or whatever. Don't allow the media stuff that we see right now to have any influence over your actions. The media today is 180 degrees different from what it was a year ago. This issue is changing. The stuff that comes out of Biden's mouth today, it's going to be far different a few months from now. It just will be. This issue is changing fast under our feet, and it's changing in our favor. So double down on that. Let's build on this momentum. Get 10 people to sign the petition. If everybody does that, we'll have 10 million people, 11 million people actually on the petition. So think about that. It's not hard, but it starts with you. It always has. In the famous words of fictional character John Connor, you have no idea how important you are. So with that, I will just wish everybody good luck. Oh, please, also, as I said at the top, please donate if you can. We really need it right now. Website stuff. Good luck. Godspeed. I'll be back on Sunday. Have a great weekend. God bless everybody. And I'm sorry if I didn't see your comments tonight. A lot of times I don't see them until after the fact.